This is video number 2 in our hip stability program. We need to get back our hip stability so that we can be mobile and be able to get up on a bike, get up on a horse. So if you have not watched the first video, make sure that you watch the first video because we've worked up to this over a month. And so now we're gonna make progressions. We're gonna keep a couple things in, but we gotta make our progressions so that we're getting stronger and we get back to the activities that we wanna do. So let's get right into the video. In video number 1, we were doing a glute rollout. And so we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna stay against the wall. I'm gonna put this ball right here on my belt loop, right to the side. I'm gonna do it against the wall right here. So I just turn I start sideways, I turn 30 degrees, I unweight the leg and I'm digging into it. I do that for a minute. I've gotta loosen up that muscle. Number 2, we've got to loosen up our psoas. So that muscle right here, our biggest hip flexor, we're getting right inside the pelvis or ilium and we're digging into it. We do it against the wall. So I would get something like this. It doesn't have to be this mobo, but I'm digging into that. I unweight the leg and I'm loosening up that muscle tissue inside my pelvis right there. I'm loosening up for a minute. With both of those, I'm loosening up the muscles that are acting on the hip for 1 minute, and I got to do both sides. Number 3, we're making a progression. So here's our first progression is that we're getting into our wall crusher, but we started last time you did it for a month, right? So consistently, we were pushing into the wall with our hip using this glute muscle, but we had the pillow right here. Now I want to get my foot up against the wall, just right next to it, and I'm gonna put this pillow right against my knee. So now when I drop down into my hinge position, I'm gonna drive both legs into the wall. Always starting at 25% pushing in, and then 50%, and then 75. I'm doing it for 30 seconds. I want to get to 75%. Getting to 100%, I don't want to put a hole in the wall. So 75% where I'm just really engaging my glute and my big toe is driving into the ground. I'm gripping the ground with my outside big toe, but I'm separating my knees out the entire time and I'm holding that so both glutes are working when I do this exercise. I'm going to shift around and I'm going to do the other side. 30 seconds driving into it. I'm really waking up my glutes when I do this exercise. So I've loosened up the glutes, loosened up the hip flexors, and then now I'm firing up the glutes. I'm doing 2 sets of 30 seconds with that. Let's go to number 4. Number 4 is a hip airplane. So this is a really important exercise to utilize the gluteus medius or TFL. What's happening is it's pulling the pelvis down like this. And so it's pulling the opposite pelvis up. This is an extremely important muscle and this exercise is great, but we've got to make sure that we're doing it really well because it's a fine motor pattern. So what I'm going to do, I want to keep a handhold right here. I'm going to hinge back with my hips and then I'm kicking my leg up and then now I'm engaging the muscles right here to shorten. So I'm engaging my muscles and opening up my hip. And you see the ball of my foot stays engaged with the ground and I'm pushing out to the side. I'm gonna do 10 repetitions. I can do this and rotate. That's happening with my low back. I don't wanna do that. It's happening with my shoulders and my low back. I wanna make sure that I'm focused on engaging my hip right here, opening up, letting it sink down slightly and then opening up. I don't wanna sink down like this and pinch my hip. So you got to really focus in on this exercise. We want to sink down a little bit, but we don't want to take it so far down that it pinches. And so if you find that pinch point, be mindful that I don't want to pinch and slam it over and over. So if that's happening, I'm shortening the range and I'm opening up, shortening the range, opening up. But if you can go down a little bit more, let's go into it because we're going to get more engagement out of that gluteus medius. We're going to do 10 repetitions and we're going to do it on both sides. And I'll show you from the back right here. So now I'm standing on my right foot, ball of the foot's engaged. I'm in my hinge position. I kick my leg back, my chest is down, and then now I'm rotating and making sure my hips is doing the work. And I'm shaking a little bit right here. This is not an easy exercise. I'm focusing on my external rotators of my hip. These are stabilization muscles that are extremely important for hip stability. But it's gonna allow me to kick up. we could focus on squeezing our butt and all this stuff that is happening with the other leg, but that's not where I want our focus to be. I want our focus to be on that stance leg, that when my stance leg is down, that this is happening, the exercise is happening here, and I'm not right next to you, so I can't help you with that engagement. So when you're watching this video, I just got to emphasize how important that is, that you know the motor pattern, the activation is on that stance leg. We're shortening and opening that up, and we're getting that engagement, because this is going to be a linchpin for our long-term success. This is video number 2. Video number 3, we're going to take it even further. And so we got to make sure that we're building those bridges and getting the stability that we need to be able to get back to our highest level activities. Number 5 is side steps. This is a great exercise. So what I'm going to do, always starting out, I want a short lever arm. So I'm going to come right here. I put it above the knees. I see people do these at the gym all the time, and they're doing them wrong. They're doing big wide steps like this. Well, why are we doing this exercise? We're doing it to lead with our hips. So I don't want to take big wide steps. What I want to do is put my feet right underneath my shoulders. I want to hinge back, and then I want to take 1-inch little steps, and I want to lead with where the band is. So I'm leading with my femur right here, because my glute is controlling the femur. So I do 1-inch little steps right here in that hinge position. My face is in line with my chest, and I'm doing 10 to the right, and then I'm going to do 10 to the left. 1-inch little steps. It looks like a silly exercise. It looks like it's going to be easy. I'm sweating right now. I am sweating. I'm probably going to start dripping on the floor. My carpet's going to get disgusting. So I've got to make sure that I'm in a good position right here, so that I don't have to do too many of them. I want to do 2 sets of 10 going each way with these side steps, but making sure that I'm getting into this hinge position right here, and then I'm doing 1-inch little steps. You have a tendency, everybody has this tendency, that they want to take a longer step, or they'll turn their foot out. One of those feet will start to turn out. We got to make sure that we square those feet up. So a lot of times I'll tell our clients, I'll say, like, turn your feet in slightly. If we start with our feet in slightly, then when they go straight, that's okay. But if they turn out like this, then we're using our TFL. We're using a hip flexor, and that's counterproductive. So there aren't bad exercise, but there's bad execution. We got to make sure that we have the best focus that we can on getting the execution right. We want to be at least 90% there. So I'm going to start inside, 1-inch little steps, hinge, and I'm not going to rush it. I got going a little bit too fast, but doing 2 sets of 10 both directions. Let's get into number 6. Number 6 is Cossacks. So the same thing, it's kind of like a side lunge, but we're going to do it with a band right here, because I want to get more depth. So I'm going to grab a chair. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this chair over here. I'm going to start by hitting the arm of the chair, but I'm going to put this band on. So I need to get more depth in it. If this causes pain, we need to shorten our range of motion, always. If it causes pain, we either decrease load or we shorten the range of motion. So right now I'm starting here, and what I'm going to do is I'm separating out with my legs, and then I'm driving into that Cossack and driving back. So now I'm touching the arm on the chair. So I'm going to move it to the side. I'm touching that arm on the chair. And I'm a little too far back, so you might make that mistake too. What you can do is you can do it against the wall. We got to make sure we're driving back though. So I'm going to try to touch the arm on the chair, coming out. I want this leg a little straighter. In here. And what the band is doing is giving me more engagement in that hip as I'm going down. If that's too far, what I want you to do is turn the chair around and actually hit the back of it. So you'll get more depth in the hip if you go back with the hip more. So I'm going to go right here, separating out. I've got the glute engagement by separating out. I straighten that leg as I'm coming down, push it back. I can step forward a little bit and driving back. Now I'm going to go the other way. I keep this leg straight and I'm driving back. Now, the last thing to think about with this exercise, it's not just about driving into my right leg as I go back. My left leg is pulling me up as well. So I'm driving out and I'm pulling up. So I'm using both hips. This is pulling in and this right hip is pushing me over. So this is a great exercise for hip stability because we're getting both sides of the hip and we're getting that femur head centered in there. You just got to make sure that we're not getting pinches and irritation when we're doing the exercise, and the band should help with that. If the band causes pain, take the band off and try it that way. Let's get into number 7. Number 7, we're gonna keep our hip hinges and we're gonna keep the ball because we gotta make sure that we're working the adductors. A lot of people regard the adductors as the rotator cuff of the hip. So rotator cuff, the number one job of it is to pull the humerus into the glenoid. So it stabilizes the joint. It's not about the rotation. It's about stabilization first. And then it does rotation as secondarily. Now, when we're doing this, I want to make sure that we're activating our adductors. So I'm doing my hip hinge, which looks like this, driving back, ball of my foot's engaged. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my ball right here, get my squeeze going, and then I'm driving back, making sure that we're getting our adductors at the same time. So we don't want to leave them behind. So we got 2 exercises that are getting the adductors. We got 2 exercises that are getting the abductors. So we're getting a ton of stabilization. This is a movement pattern exercise. So we always do movement pattern exercises 30 times total. So you can do 3 sets of 10 or 2 sets of 15. I'm good at math. So we need to make sure that we're doing this consistently. We do these exercises twice a day. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified when we do new videos, because we're going to do a third, which is going to be really challenging exercise. I need you to be super consistent with these. If you want to fix your hip problem, you want to get to your highest level of function, then you got to be consistent with these because we're building bridges. These are things that we do here in the clinic, and we fix hip problems every single week. So we'll see you in the next video.